Power. It's one of the most intoxicating forces known to mankind. It corrupts, it manipulates, and in the hands of some, it becomes an unstoppable tool for control and exploitation. But what happens when power is wielded not for progress, but for personal gain, with no regard for the cost to the people it was meant to serve? This is the chilling reality that many face in Kenya, a reality deeply rooted in its political landscape. In Kenya, the political game is not simply about serving the people, it's about survival. And for some, survival comes at the expense of morality, integrity, and truth. But behind the polished speeches, the grand promises, and the strategic alliances, there lies a darker force, a force that is often overlooked by the public eye. Imagine, if you will, a mind that thrives on manipulation, a mind that views the masses not as individuals deserving of their rights, but as pawns to be used, discarded, and replaced when no longer needed. This is the mindset of the Kenyan politician, who seeks not to elevate, but to dominate. The evil in the mind of a Kenyan politician doesn't always come in the form of overt villainy. It doesn't always show up as a mustache-twirling schemer behind closed doors. No, it's far more insidious than that. The true evil is often hidden in plain sight, woven into the very fabric of Kenya's political system. It begins with a subtle shift, a manipulation of the system, the bending of laws, the creation of loopholes that benefit the few while devastating the many. This is where the politician becomes the puppet master, pulling strings behind the scenes, making decisions that serve their own pockets rather than the people who trusted them. But the true horror lies not in the corruption itself, but in the mindset that enables it. This politician is not merely a person who seeks to enrich themselves. They are someone who, once in power, believes that the system exists to serve them, and if the people must suffer for their ambitions, then so be it. But how did this mindset take root? It's not something that appeared overnight. It's a product of a long history of exploitation, of a system where political leaders have learned to rely on deceit, division, and diversion. A system where loyalty is bought, where promises are nothing more than words to keep the masses pacified. From the very birth of modern Kenya, there has been a tug-of-war between those who seek to empower the nation and those who, once in power, seek only to secure their own interests. In the early days, political leaders promised a better future, a Kenya free of the colonial chains. Yet as time passed, the same power dynamics emerged, giving rise to politicians who sought to dominate rather than liberate. The evil mind of the Kenyan politician is not necessarily born from a singular moment of greed. It's the result of an intricate dance between personal ambition, systemic corruption, and the exploitation of a fractured society. And it's this mind that can smile at the camera, shaking hands with the poor, while secretly building an empire on their suffering. But there is hope. Kenya's future is not locked in the hands of those who have perpetuated this cycle. The power of the Kenyan people, their voices, their resistance, and their fight for justice is beginning to awaken. And with it, a question arises. Will the evil mind of the politician continue to dominate, or will the people rise up and demand the truth? The evil mind of the Kenyan politician is not the end of the story. It's simply a chapter that must be rewritten by those who refuse to stand idly by. The question is, will you be a part of the change?